What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Saturday. I hope you guys had a good night last night. Ended up to be a pretty damn good night for me, despite Nene dropping 5.5 DraftKings points. He tried his heart out to have an absolute disaster of a game. Looked like he was lost on the court, but luckily the other guys in the plays kind of picked up the slack. Jokic had a very good night, ended up dropping 50 DraftKings points. Shabazz Napier returned a lot of value at 33 DraftKings points. LeVert had a nice little night. CJ McCollum didn't really find a zone, like he was kind of missing a lot of shots and didn't get as many assists that I was looking for. Taking over Lillard kind of in that point guard role, so that was disappointing. But luckily, yeah, we had some guys go off, and I tweeted out a lineup on my Twitter that ended up scoring 300 DraftKings points, despite Nene and McCollum both having disappointing nights. We had Kyle Kuzma in that lineup that ended up going off. Also, Bam Adabo, however you say his last name, on the Miami Heat, had a nice little night against the Mavericks. So all in all, ended up to be a good night. Hope you guys ran out some of those plays. I guess despite Nene, but it was probably hard to avoid him. He was definitely highly owned last night because he was such a chalk play. The value just seemed to be there. So luckily, most people were kind of running him out to subside kind of the pain out of that one. But we're back here again on Saturday with my top 5 plays and my Dollar Tree play of the day. So go ahead and drop a like in the video if you're ready to go. I got some great plays for you today. And let's just get into it. I'm going to kick it off with Kevin Durant at the top. 11,500 going against the Nuggets. I mean, this guy has been a beast since Steph Curry has been down. He's only had one bad game really against Memphis, but that was because Klay Thompson was kind of like going off in that spot and was feeling himself. So in this matchup against Denver, I don't think Klay can honestly get hot against anyone, but it sets up here to be more of a Kevin Durant game yet again. With Gary Harris, I mentioned how he was on McCollum, kind of locking him down last night. I thought he'd be a little bit more like banged up from his injury, and he was questionable going into that game, but he looked very good against McCollum. So I think that he can give Klay Thompson some problems in this matchup, meaning more Kevin Durant going against Wilson Chandler, an older guy that I don't think that can keep up with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's just way too lanky and athletic for him, so I like KD in this spot to be able to return a lot of value. I mean, not that much value, is 11,500, but able to reach over 60 DraftKings points yet again. He dropped 48 against them in 29 minutes. They kind of blew him out in that game when they did when they did have Steph Curry. I expect this game to stay a little bit closer here. And Durant was on one in that game, 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. He shot 9 for 13 from the field, so very effective. Kind of shows that the matchup is definitely in his favor here. So I think he'll expand that out to around 60 DraftKings points in the spot here, so lock him in. And we're going to go with Karl-Anthony Towns next up. Another big sour guy, 9,500. Going against Phoenix, he's kind of manhandled him this year, dropping 51 DraftKings points on average in the 3 games. So we're talking on a small sample here. We know that Phoenix kind of struggles down low, and Towns has been going off recently against some pretty solid teams. Like, he dropped 56 against Phoenix. We dropped 69 against Sacramento. We won't call them a good team, but 48 against Denver. Pretty solid defensively with Jokic. 57 against Philly. So he's having some monster games lately. I think he'll keep that up in this spot. Going against Phoenix, price isn't too bad. I think he'll get over 50 DraftKings points, honestly, in this game. So Karl-Anthony Towns, lock him in there. We only have 4,800 remaining per player, but we got some nice value guys here. Tyler Johnson next up, going against New Orleans. Rajon Rondo is just playing absolutely no defense this year. Like, his defensive rating is absolutely piss poor. One of the worst I've seen this year. So I'm guessing that Tyler Johnson can definitely can score some on him, and he's been playing a ton of minutes recently, so it's kind of hard for him not to return at least some value in this spot. I think he'll get over 30 DraftKings points yet again, like 40 minutes, 37, and 39 the last 3 games. So we should be getting around 40 yet again in this good matchup against Rondo. So Tyler Johnson, not much else I got to say here, but I like the matchup a lot, and just how much he's on the court, too hard to ignore. Like, he hasn't even been shooting that well. Like, against the Celtics, he got just 11 rebounds and was able to get some steals and stuff to return value. So even if he's not scoring that well, which I think he will anyways, like, he can still return value just by getting some rebounds and assists and maybe some blocks or steals. Yeah, he actually looks like a pretty damn good rebounder for a point guard as well in the games I've been watching. So Tyler Johnson, lock him in there. And then we're going to go with another kind of mid-range guy, John Collins, going against Dallas. I've mentioned this a lot. Dallas isn't very good down low, so I think Collins could have a nice little game here, and he's been returning value pretty much every time he gets over 20 minutes, like 32 drafting points last game against a very good defensive team in OKC. That's good to see. 29 against Indiana, 28 against Memphis, another good defensive team. So he's been returning value like every time he gets over 20 minutes. Seems like he's finally healthy. So against Dallas here, he'll get some extra run, probably around 25 minutes yet again. And they're just very bad. We saw Bam Adabo go off against them last night. Kelly Olynyk had a pretty nice night. So John Collins, I think he'll be able to clean up on the glass and score pretty easily. He's very effective from the field. So I could see a double-double in this game, honestly, out of the rookie. A very good player. So lock him in there. And then we're going to go with a guy that's currently might not even get the start here, but Dwight Howard, currently questionable, dislocated his finger yesterday, didn't go back in the game. The fact that he didn't go back in the game kind of shows that it's more serious than people are letting on. Currently questionable. They don't play next until the 27th. So if I was the coach, I would imagine that they don't bring him back in this game. They kind of let him rest until the 27th, and that means that Frank Kaminsky will get some extra run off the bench. He had a nice little game against Milwaukee last time. This is literally the same exact matchup that they played yesterday. So they're playing Milwaukee this time in Charlotte here. He shot 6 for 12, got 27 drafting points in that game. We know that Milwaukee isn't very good down low. Pretty easy to rebound him, so that's good for his floor and his upside, especially if he gets heating from the field or whatever, hit some threes or some other shots. He has some big upside when he gets minutes like we saw against New York, 38 drafting points. He just has random big games, and the fact we saw that last year, like when he started getting some extra run when Cody Zeller got hurt. We saw Kaminsky have monster games. So at 3,900 with Dwight Howard possibly out and also Cody Zeller is out, he should be getting around 30 minutes. And I think he's a very good player, underrated. He's been shooting well against Milwaukee. So the matchup sets up good here. Just got to hope that Dwight Howard is out. If he isn't out, though, I'll update this play on Twitter at MoneyWebby. So definitely follow me there for the update in that play. But at the moment, considering I'm just assuming that Dwight Howard is going to be out for tonight, so 3,900 for Kaminsky. I think we'll get over 25 drafting points pretty easily, actually. So lock him in there. So that's the top 5. We got Tyler Johnson, Kevin Durant, John Collins, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Kaminsky. All some great plays there. I think Tyler Johnson should get over 30 drafting points. Kevin Durant should go over 60. John Collins should go over 25. Towns should go over 50, and Kaminsky should go over 25. So some good plays there, all rounded out. And then for a dollar cheap play of the day, Brandon Wright at 3,000. Those cheap guys really screwed people over last night. But we're going to go back to the well here with Marc Gasol doubtful. Brandon Wright, he's actually been a pretty good player when he gets some minutes. We saw that against Phoenix last game. 15 drafting points on 20 minutes. That's around what we're trying to get. At least like 15 drafting points here. Going against DeAndre Jordan. He is on a back-to-back. DeAndre Jordan, that is. So maybe that helps Brandon Wright out a little bit. And he's been just kind of like sitting on the bench, kind of hurt for the most part recently. So he should be kind of rested up, ready to go in this game at least. When he's had some big games. Like he literally played the same Clippers team. Somehow he dropped 37 drafting points in that game. Not sure how, but he had a crazy good game in the same matchup. So that's good to see at least. And against the Lakers, he dropped 22 drafting points in 17 minutes. So I think he should be getting around 25 minutes, you'd assume, without Gasol here. They are playing in Memphis. So Brandon Wright, he's honestly a pretty good offensive player, and he can rebound a bit. So 3,000 doesn't need to do that much to return value, but I think he'll definitely return value at 3,000. At least 15 drafting points here. So lock him in. Allows you to pay up for guys like Kevin Durant and Karl-Anthony Towns. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely like the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already to get these winning plays every single day. You got Tyler Johnson, Kevin Durant, John Collins, Karl-Anthony Towns, Frank Kaminsky, and Brandon Wright. Let's pray that Dwight Howard doesn't play here tonight so we can have a great night here. I mean, Frank Kaminsky will be pretty chalky, but I don't care. I'll have my other guys go off and for him as well. So that is it, guys. Good luck tonight. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Definitely be on the lookout for my NFL drafting picks coming out in a little bit.